What is going on, Stonebladers? It has been such a long time. In fact, I believe it's been right around a year, and my goodness, has a lot changed in the Legacy game community with cards and decks. I've been doing very well, ironically enough. The losses that I've come from have pretty much been like, oh, that's how the initiative works? First time playing against it? You know, stuff like that. But overall, I've been doing very well. I have some other good games. Hopefully I'll be able to record, but I'm just playing, enjoying myself at the time. We're going to be up against 4-color control. I didn't know that. I don't know who we're playing against. Well, our staff 19. I do know who we're playing against. I don't know what they're on. So this is a great hand. I love this. Double Stoneforge, plus we have Brainstorm for shuffling away anything in case it gets removed. Plenty of shuffle effects. Sign me up. We're going to be bad against, like, you know, maybe early creature stuff, but we got plenty of mana. Okay, that's usually like I don't have any other land to play. That's usually like a maybe they have a ponder in this, you know, they want to get something going, but fine by me. That should pretty much give away like either some type of control. I don't know if any non-control decks play that. I know now, obviously I'm playing against control, but here we're going with Island. In case I need to Brainstorm, I'm going to go with that. Sometimes I will play Flooded Strand to hide more information, but I like just playing Island here and then Plains for the easy Stoneforge Mystic. Brainstorm, so they really did have a kind of a clunker of a hand. Brainstorming kind of sucks there because there's no shuffle effect. Clearly. Okay? So, Plains Stoneforge. And something I'm really going to emphasize even more, I've talked about this a lot in my past games, is that holding my fetches for as long as possible, and I will talk about that. Ooh, cool. Let's talk about this force. So they force this. So that means they probably don't have a Swords, or they probably don't have a Prismatic Ending. They pitch the Brainstorm. That's fine. There's nothing we can do here. We got another one coming for them, which is good. If they're scared of the first one, they're probably going to be scared of the second one as well. Oof, and this hurts. Oh, goodness. All right, I remember I watched someone play Stoneblade. It was turn 0. They went first, they played an island, they tapped it, and they cast a Brainstorm, knowing nothing, absolutely nothing about the other person. It was one of the scariest things I've ever seen. This is kind of getting close to it. I understand Delver decks are playing this early in the game, but man, a control deck playing this, I understand also that they're probably very light on mana or they don't have any, so they're looking for a land. But I actually threw one of these in my decks. That's the reason I am going to be really cautious about cracking these. You know, if I need a mountain, I can have one, but the times where I've played my solo Expressive Iteration in a few games, it literally wins me the game because I play it towards the end and I have so much mana open where I can, say, play like a Narset and a Teferi, or, you know, something along the lines of that where I'm getting more value aside from a land and another card, or like Stoneforge and Brainstorm at the same time. But a little spiel on that. I realized very quickly this card is ridiculous, and I'm like, well, if you can't beat them, join them. So I have one of. So far, I haven't had any problems mana-wise. And with one, it's like you barely see it anyway. So here I'm playing with an island. I'm playing an island, and we're playing Stoneforge here. Once again, patience. Like this Brainstorm that's just going to keep sitting here and sitting here and sitting here. I don't know if the Legacy format has changed where there's just so many more powerful cards, but I feel like everyone's in a hurry to cast everything. I don't know, like I said, if that's the pace of the format or I'm just so old school with holding on to my powerful cards until ultimately almost the last second. Now here is a very easy choice. Kaldra is going to be the more powerful equipment, and given the fact I have a Brainstorm, if they kill my Stoneforge, I don't mind having it stranded in my hand, so very easy Kaldra take there. Wasteland. Nice Wasteland. Okay, they're fetching, so probably Minsc and Boo. Oh, I know it is. I've seen it, right? Okay, so my only option here is to Brainstorm, which I don't want to do because the only thing I could do is get a Force of Will in the blue card, a Force of Negation in a blue card, or the combination of both, Force of Will and Force of Negation, which is highly unlikely. At this point, I don't care too much about it. They are tapped out, and I can send in Kaldra next turn, so based upon how they play this, I'm just going to go with it there. Okay. This is probably the one card I'm afraid of the most in this deck, so I want to make sure that I give it more attention than I need to, because this thing can just run rampant, you know, and just win the game very quickly. This is the first time playing against it too. So it looks like they're thinking when going through, and, you know, they didn't want to attack, so they're just putting the 3 on. And that's fine. I don't want to Brainstorm here. Once again, I know it's tempting, but I have so many great cards that I can throw away, and if I just wait a few more turns, 1 or 2 more turns, I'll get even more value out of it. Okay, perfect. So here's what I want to do. First and foremost, I am only showing 1 plains here. So what I want to do is try to Prismatic Ending the Boo without playing a land first. If I play a land first, they're going to know that I can always just bring in Kaldra, and then it's going to be easy Force of Will if they have one, which I don't think they do. So first thing I want to do is Prismatic Ending. This is sequencing, which I see happen a lot of times. I'm sure I mess it up too every now and then, but it gives them less information, because if they thought, well, they might not have another plains. Well, ironically enough, I do. Flooded Strand should be the play here. Perfect, because this can get me any basic I want, and Mountain's going to be important too. So let's fetch that. Perfect. And let's attack. So that was kind of a 1-for-1. You know, my Prismatic got that, but my Kaldra got that. So it worked out very well. Well, I mean, obviously it's working out well. We're getting it off the table. It's not where we want it. And I did keep I think I had to keep that open, yeah. Brainstorm is open, but I would love to wait another turn, because getting another, that's completely fine. They can have that. They just lost a card on that, which is good. Okay, Uro. Perfect. Now I know what else I need to deal with. So Swords to Plowshares are going to be helpful. I guess I could Prismatic Ending. I mean, that won't be too bad. You know, if it gets on the table, I don't want it to get that far, but sure. And now we have an awesome opportunity for a Brainstorm, unless something else comes up. Oh, speaking of that, there's our sword. So I do want to Brainstorm here, just because I have so much mana. I will have 4 mana open, so I could play just about anything in my deck here. So what I also want to do is just, go with Brainstorm first. I don't want to play a land first, because I'm not sure what I'm going to need. So the most amount of information for myself. And I will play it pre-combat. I'm like, you got a Spell Pierce? You got a Flusterstorm? I'm not sure. Maybe they thought I had a Stifle. Okay, so this is good. What do I not want here? Most likely, it'll definitely Volk, and it's either going to be Scalding or Prismatic. I believe it's going to be the Scalding. I don't need any more plains. It actually really doesn't matter, because that doesn't fetch plains anymore. So this and this, or this and this will do. Cool. Let's attack. Okay, so I believe what I did here, let me hit the play button. I believe what I did here is crack the fetch, get an island, and we got island plains. For Narset, that's going to be good, because they won't draw a card if they choose to play Uro, and I can Swords it if I need to. I believe I did that, yes. I wasn't as worried about Force of Will. Obviously, they didn't play Minsc and Boo, so that's the only thing that could have happened. But I can always play Narset and get a blue card. It's a lot less likely to happen. You know, that was the chance I was willing to take. Okay, we got a blue card. So we didn't have much choice there, but we have our blue card in case they do play Minsc. So that's good. Okay. Teferi, I don't like. I won't be able to plow Uro, right away. It's just going to mess. I mean, I can't use my Force of Will if I do. Plus, they can bounce something. They can get a card. They can't get a card because of this. But I just think it's best countering that there. It's just going to be a pain to deal with. Plus, I'm getting more cards from Narset, which is good. Okay. Ooh, what do we have here? Aw, come on, you're killing me. I would have loved to use EI here, but pretty sure Jace is going to be the good one. Let's go with Jace here. Don't mind if I do. So what am I holding up here? Obviously, I have 2 swords. What I want to do is island plains, because eventually, if I need to, I can play my Prismatic, and then I can shuffle, and then I'll have plains open, and then I'll have either island or mountain. So island plains. Cool. Let's go nuts. Let's see. So, interesting one. Just, this can always go many ways. I believe I'd keep Force of Will and Brainstorm. And then what I would do is island and then swords on top. If I need an extra swords, I can not shuffle. And if I don't need it, I can shuffle. So it should be island and swords. Perfect. I love when I actually say what I should do and then do it. I'm not attacking here. Ironically enough, despite me not playing, I am going to give Endurance some respect. We haven't seen it yet simply because I don't think they've ever had the mana for it. So, and look at that. I love being right. It's as I've been playing for the last year, you know? So what I want to do here, I can swords it right now and have these swords go back into my library, or I can wait and then swords it if I do want to swords it. And I did wait here. I do have Snapcasters in my deck, so I don't mind, you know, keeping it there was my train of thought. So I do want to swords this. Remember, I did keep a swords on top of my deck. So if they want to play Uro, I just don't shuffle. Is it going to be Uro? Looks like it. Okay, let me click a ton of times. And they don't draw a card because of Narset, which is great. Don't want to click too many times, otherwise I'll skip through everything. No card draw for you. Perfect. And we're not shuffling. Okay, now what I can do is go ahead and get a mountain with that. Have all my colors. I believe it was crap under the swords. It was the Scalding Tarn. Let's draw some cards before we make any decisions. Not bad. This one's tricky. I'd say probably... It just depends on how you want to play. I don't mind playing a land because I can hard cast Force of Will and do other stuff. This might just be Ponder, or Brainstorm Ponder. I don't really need a Brainstorm when I got Jace here. There's a lot of ways to do it. Just, I think the idea here was to plow this, and then, you know, I'm not sure if I wanted to use a Ponder to reset, but just looking at it now, I definitely want to keep this, this, and this. So it's either like Ponder or Ponder Brainstorm. I can be patient here. Perfect. And I'm going to plow this now so I can get my attack in, because they don't have, there's one green there and no green anywhere else. So let's safely attack in. I can't tell you how much I love Jace. This card has been winning me a lot of games, even with all the red blasts out there. Surprise, surprise, contrary to what other people have been saying. You know, it's crazy. Kind of like Narset too, right? It's blue, gets red blasted. Looks like a, what's it called? Desperate Ponder. Just trying to look for some good cards up top. Let's see, did they shuffle? Choose to shuffle. Okay, so they found nothing even good there. Perfect. That's what I like to see. Ponder is good. So didn't we have Ponder? I'm trying to think of what the best way of doing this was. I'm just going to play it and we'll talk from there. Looks like a Ponder. Oh, this is great. So Dress Down, Ponder. Anyway, I want Stoneforge. I think that's going to be the best here. Let's play Stoneforge. Mountain. Okay. And now we're going to have this to bring in Batterskull. And now I can draw 3 with Jace. Perfect. Okay, hit and play. I don't want to hit play too many times. Okay. These are all very good. I remember this one was very tough to decide, because eventually, let's see... They have so many basics. I obviously want this. I want this. And do I want to shuffle is the question. There was a lot of things you could do here, but I think overall, keeping Force, Batterskull, and probably Brainstorm. You could choose not to play land. I'm just going to... Okay, so land. Okay, swords on top. Once again, I think that's a pretty fair play. No matter what, I'm getting these swords. So that's fine. Okay, and actually gave up there. Ironically enough, they're like, I had enough of this, and I don't blame them. I would have brought in Batterskull that turn. I probably would have just thrown down back to basics to stop them from playing, you know, a lot of their other lands. But that was a fun one. Let's go to the sideboarding and see what we got. All right, so this is a deck I kind of put together. Just we'll talk about it since, you know, first time looking at it. Meltdown, just one. Probably could have two here. 3 Red Blast and the Festivities for those annoying 1/1 creatures. Graveyard Hate is Surgical, and Rest in Peace. We have 2 Blast for EI, and we also have Minsc and Boo. Path to Exile is like a nod to Delver. I mean, it's just, I like it because it comes in so many games, so many matchups. True-Name is another one for like those, the long, drawn-out ones, say like Death and Taxes. They come in against Control. Counterbalance I just threw in there. I have not got to play that yet. Dress Down once again. In an earlier version of my deck, I had 3 total. It's great with a lot of creature decks. It's great with combo, and it's also great with Urza Saga, which I like. And Ethersworn I've always liked. Sometimes I have 2, but it's great against Elves and Storm. Those were 2 decks when I played a lot I faced a lot of, and they were probably, Elves was probably the most difficult matchup, so that's usually been in there. But going on with this, it's funny, I played a game earlier against a Urza Saga deck, and I didn't even bring in Meltdown. It was pretty silly of me. This, and probably a Counterbalance, right? So here, I played this one a little bit differently. I think I shaved on a Back to Basics, on a Dress Down. Normally, I don't take out all of my forces. If I played this again, I don't think I would have. Oops. How many did I take in and how many did I bring out? So is that 6 and 7? And I might have taken out, I like Pierce, but I think I maybe took out 1. Something like that. You can change it around a little if you want to fine tune it. I don't even know if Counterbalance was in the, because I just changed my deck also, but something like that, you can tweak it around. But I'll put these back so if I play this again, it doesn't have a really messed up deck. Anyway, something like that. Let's get into it. Oh, I completely forgot about it. I did bring in Surgical. I brought in 2 Surgicals, so something else I took out. Like I said, I don't remember exactly. First time playing in a year, so anytime I see Uro, I will bring in Surgical. So we do see this in a game, and it plays a very big part of it. So anyway, let's get back to it. Let's go to game number 2. All right, we are going to be on the draw again because we won, because we're awesome. Anyway, let's go to view sideboard. What did I and did I not have? So this must have been the other one. Okay, so I did have Timeless Dragon wasn't in there, so that's something that's different. 3 Force of Will, so I did keep in 1 Force of Will. This one also had Lightning Bolt on the side. Like I said, I changed it around a lot. I'm just testing out stuff. Anything that can help with Delver and the initiative, so it's a lot of like creature removal. This can also help with Minsc and Boo, but I feel like I had that covered. So a few things were changed from what I talked about, but that's what it looks like there. Let's mulligan this. Let's see, choose to play first. So they begin with 7. Okay, it's not my favorite hand in the world, but we are playing Control, and nothing really big usually happens until like Uro turn 3, Minsc turn 4, something like that. So I will keep this, and I am going to bottom the Tundra because I do not like non-basic lands, and they do play a Wasteland, which we saw in the previous game. Apparently, we are playing against Death and Taxes. Okay, we don't really have anything to worry about on turn 2 unless they are playing Sylvan Library. Usually if they do play it, it's like one of, maybe. So I think I'm pretty good here pondering instead of holding up Spell Pierce. Okay, this actually isn't all that bad. I like the Plains. I know I have a lot of lands, but lands are great in this. So Plains is going to be the weak link here. So I don't want that. So it's going to be Plains. It's going to be either Prismatic and then Ponder, or Ponder and then Prismatic. I don't think they play discard for any odd reason. But if I did it for that reason, that's why. Some type of discard that you never know. When you come back and you haven't seen decks in a while, sometimes they just do some crazy stuff. All right, perfect. So what I want to do here is, I believe I went with Scalding Tarn because I want to play that, I want to fetch, and then I want to play Ponder. I'll still be able to have Pierce up if I need it, say for like a Teferi. Okay, I didn't do that. That's fine. I can still get it with that. That works too, because this can get anything, and that can get the red that I need. So that is just another way of doing it. Let's get Island here. We're shuffling away those other lands. We do have 2 more. And here, let's see. Brainstorm, Kaldra, Swords. So Swords I don't care for, because the only thing I really want a Swords is going to be Uro. Brainstorm I already have, and Kaldra is, don't need that. So unless I did shuffle, I think I did shuffle this. It's kind of too redundant. Yeah, perfect. It wouldn't have made any sense if I kept that. It's just everything that I already have. And I'm keeping my Spell Pierce open just in case of a Teferi, which they're not going to be playing after pondering. Okay, cool. Okay, that's great. Well, I went too quickly there. I would like to play Stoneforge. If they remove it and go into Minsc, I will have my Pierce still open, so I'm going to do Plains here. Keep in mind, I still have a Fetch and a Brainstorm. That was methodically planned out, I swear. You saw it, right? There we go. We're going with Kaldra again. It's good at just dealing damage. If they want to get rid of Stoneforge, that is a win for us. We're on the draw, so we're kind of even with cards, but I did mulligan. What do you got? Okay, looks like they're getting rid of the Stoneforge. That's perfectly fine. That's what it's there for. Literally. A lot of people don't understand the purpose of Stoneforge. Okay, so apparently I'm going to be brainstorming. So the reason I want to brainstorm here is there is a reason to it. I would love to wait one more turn. I would have 4 total lands, but when you keep in mind, if I do that, next turn I want to play Narset and have Spell Pierce backup, and I won't be able to do that. So that is the main reason why I'm brainstorming here. So there's a reason for it. It's because I need my mana next turn. And this is good. I can get rid of Kaldra. So it's just Kaldra anything, so we're drawing it. So I did have the decision of, do I want to play True-Name? You know, because that can at least, it can hit a Minsc and Boo if you want. But it looks like they pondered. There's not a whole lot going on there. They might be dirtling around a little bit more. So I went with Narset. I played the Scalding Tarn. And we're playing Narset. Okay, that's completely fine. Nothing I can do there. Got our 2 for 1. I still have Minsc covered. And what do we got? They always have it, right? So let's fetch. And the question is, do I want to get a Volcanic Mountain or do I want to get an island? Because they do play a, what's it called? What's the word? Wasteland. So the idea here is if I get this, I'll be able to use my Blast. I'll also be able to use a Prismatic on 3 if I need to, but I just love the stability of mana, so I went with an island here. I'm just going to play to the cards I have in my hand. If I happen to draw something like that, I'm sure I can find a way to play it later. Yep. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Well, there you go. Sometimes you play it differently than you think. Completely negate everything I just talked about. This is why you watch these commentaries. It's like, I completely didn't get a Volcanic Island because of... Never mind. Anyway. I mean, either or. They played their land, so they probably don't have a Wasteland and would have to naturally draw it. So not the biggest deal. That's a good draw. Okay, so ironically enough, I talked about Minsc and Boo being one of the biggest threats I'm worried about. So I believe what I did here first is actually surgicaling it. I know surgical came in for Uro, but when you look at my hand, I have plenty of ways of dealing with that. And if Minsc and Boo is one of their biggest threats and I can keep Uro in check, I think that's a pretty good play to make, especially when I have all these cards in my hand. So I believe the first thing I did was surgical, just to get some more information. Probably my favorite part about this card is being able to see someone's hand. I can't tell you how powerful that is. All right, perfect. So let's get rid of the 2. The other one too. You can do it. Okay, so actually what I did is I already have a screenshot here. So they have Swords and Karakas. Absolutely nothing. This is great. So if we look at it, we have 3 Uros. This can deal damage. And they have 1 Field of the Dead. So just from taking that out, first and foremost, I was very surprised. I thought they'd have 4 in there, but 2, that's fine. I don't have to worry about it. So literally it's only Uros, and I have 2 swords, and they have Field of the Dead, which can get very annoying. And the only way for them to deal with True-Name is their 1 of Supreme Verdict. They don't have any dress downs into like swords. They don't have, they do have 3 swords, 3 prismatic. So that's their only way of dealing with it. So they can pretty much just play a lot of cards until they get Field or Uro. So that was the plan I went with. Oh yeah, I always hit OK there as if that's going to continue on with the frame. So what I do want to tap here, I want to keep the island open. I think I tapped it incorrectly, but if they waste me, I won't be able to Spell Pierce. Undo that. There we go. It clearly shows that I don't have a Red Blast, but I'd rather just keep Spell Pierce up should they draw a Minsc and Boo. And, well, they'd probably play Karakas, hopefully, around it. So we know that they have this. I pretty much took out one of their... if they were a tripod, I took out one of their legs. So they just have Field of the Dead and Uro, and they just played a Misty, which is good for me because now I know perfect information. So what I can do, actually when I was playing it, I was going like this. Like, I will go through your entire deck, given the fact I have 6 minutes up on them. So I have no need to play that. I have Brainstorms. Let's go with it. Please don't play the land. Just like before. I'm definitely not getting Volcanic Island. Gets Volcanic Island. Okay. There will be times when I want to play Tundra. This is a reason to play it, because if I top, was it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2 more lands, then I can play that if needed. They played their Karakas, so they got a Swords and Unknown. So I will play the Tundra post-combat. Cool. And they just plays Tundra. I can't see. It looked like a Prismatic Vista. Cycling, cool. So I literally went back over here. I'm like, where's your Triumph? Thank you. I think a Plains 2 or something. I was pretty much just going through them all. Tropical? Did they fetch Tropical? I believe they did. I won't go through and, do each card one by one. So Sylvan, that was actually a pretty good draw. The only thing with that is that they're getting very low on life, especially with True-Name and no way to handle it aside from Supreme Verdict. I can't pierce that. They have 3 mana open. I can do it, just and lose a card, but not very profitable. I will play that post-combat because that is mana number 6. Okay. They can technically, they can pay twice and lose, but not advisable. They paid once, okay? Hope it was something good. For EI, okay? I know what you're thinking. That Spell Pierce looks very funny there. Well, I can't even tell you how many times games have gone long. Even in these games, the ones you haven't seen where I'll keep it in my hand for a very long time, but it always comes down to these counter wars where they think they can just keep playing more and more and more. So the idea here is I could fetch, play Kaldra. They'd Swords it, and, they would what? I guess they could, just Swords it, and then they'd have their blocker. I'm not in any danger life-wise, so I believe I just attacked with True-Name. Yeah, they are definitely on the defense here. Okay, they're at 3. 1 turn to rule them all. Probably could have played out Kaldra, but then again, if they had Supreme Verdict, and that was that. So there we go. That was a fun game against 4-color control. I took a unique line when it comes to going after probably the most dangerous card I had to play against, and it worked very well. Especially for the fact that I had Uro covered. Everything was kind of standard. You could have played a few different ways, especially with the first game with the Jace and so on and so forth. And then there was the funny, I'm definitely not getting Volcanic Island, and of course, I got Volcanic Island. That about does it. Thank you so much for watching. I should hopefully have some more videos. Depends on what I play, who I play, and the decks that I can talk about, that I know about. Usually don't do stuff against decks that I am unaware of because I just look like a fool. I'm like, what is this card? What do I do? But anyway, hopefully I'll be seeing you soon, and thank you so much for watching.